2020 was, of course, supposed to be a year full of celebration for the Trust, one in which we looked back over 5 decades of amazing work carried out by our members and volunteers to care for wildlife across Warwickshire, Coventry and Solihull. And instead, just like every other organisation, we've spent the last 2 to 3 weeks completely shutting down in response to the coronavirus pandemic and the government's instructions to self-isolate and to promote social distancing. This unfortunately has meant that 3/4 of our staff have been entered onto the government job retention scheme, the furlough scheme, and we have had to close all of our nature reserves to access other than those people who live close enough to arrive on foot. And we've also had to close both of our visitor centres at Brandon Marsh and Parkridge. And while I'm very sorry for all of the impacts that has had on everybody's ability to go about their jobs in the case of the staff, to enjoy nature in the case of all of our members and indeed the general public, and to carry out vital work for nature conservation in the case of our volunteers, it has been necessary for us to play our part in the national response. Now, we all hope that this is going to be over as soon as it possibly can be, that life can return to something approaching normal, and that we can get back to the vital business of dealing with the climate crisis and the ecological crisis by caring for our own bit of the country, for looking after wildlife where we all live, and for picking up the amazing work that we are doing, building on everything that our predecessors have done before us. So I just wanted to take a couple of moments at the beginning of yet another glorious day in mid-April to say thank you very much to everybody who's helped in that endeavour, that shutdown. Thank you to all of the staff who are patiently waiting at home to come back to work. Thank you to all the staff who've stayed on working and who are keeping the vital functions of the Trust ticking over. And thank you to all of the volunteers who are desperately champing at the bit waiting to get back to work. But most of all, thank you very much to all of the members who continue to send in messages of support, to maintain their membership subscription and to keep the money flowing through the Trust that we so vitally need to carry on working for nature now and in the years ahead. You may have seen the government announce a support package for charities, and that was no doubt very welcome to those charities who are at the front line in fighting the response or carrying out the response to the coronavirus. Unfortunately, the Trust will see none of that money, yet of course our vital work is needed now and in the future just as much as it ever was. So a big special thank you to all of those supporters, volunteers and members who are able to do that in the future.